Update: my husband wants a baby, but I want a divorce. Original post: my husband, 31 male, and I, 29 female, have been together for 8 years and married for the last 3. Little things keep adding up, and I don't even know how to approach these issues. He wants kids soon, but I can't trust that he'd support me. I'm trying to figure out whether to work on us or just leave. Recently, within the last 4 years, I've been dealing with chronic health issues. Just this year alone, I've had 3 surgeries to fix various health problems. Our sex life hasn't been good in a few years since I got ill, maybe once or twice a month. He has told me that it's not enough, that he feels rejected, and that it's making his mental health worse. But if we have kids, we won't be able to have sex while I'm recovering. I work 5 to 6 days a week, 12-hour night shifts in healthcare. I am the primary breadwinner in our relationship. He bounces from job to job and was recently unemployed for over a year, claiming to be applying to jobs. I know the job market is horrible right now, so I wasn't pushing. I later found out he was lying. He hadn't applied for anything in about 6 months, including jobs I recommended to him through some of my connections. We got into a massive fight, and I basically told him if he didn't have a job by the end of the month, I was leaving and he could figure out the bills himself. Not even a week later, he was back working at his old job. I still do all the cooking, cleaning, and household upkeep. On my days off, I spend 3 to 4 hours just putting everything in order for the week. Even when he wasn't working, he wasn't doing anything except playing video games in another room while I slept. So when I'd wake up, there would be laundry to switch or cat litter to scoop. He wants kids soon, but with my chronic health problems, pregnancy would be really hard on my body. There are a lot of health risks, and I would basically have to be on bed rest the whole time, in and out of doctor appointments. I couldn't work or do much of anything, and I'm scared I wouldn't get the support I need. I don't even know if I want to have kids with him anymore. He gets money every month from his settlement, and he says it's enough to make up for the income I won't be bringing in if I get pregnant. The settlement payout every month is less than a fourth of what I make in 2 weeks. I feel like I'm his mother already. I feel like I'd become one of those married single mothers. I've asked him about therapy, individual or couples, and he's dismissive, saying therapy hasn't helped in the past. So I asked about medications, but he doesn't want to take a pill every day. I don't want to come across as horrible or manipulative, but I'm about ready to write out everything I do. Bill payments, chores, time I'm at work, etc., and have him do it all for a month. Then he can tell me if he still thinks we're ready to have kids right now. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Read this back to yourself. You already know you should leave ASAP. Agreed. Good luck getting everything sorted and your health. Having kids with someone doesn't fix a relationship. It adds more complications. I hope you realize that the only reason he wants kids now is so that you can't leave him. He senses that you're reaching your breaking point. That's why he wants to have kids soon to prevent that. Yup, a-hole's gearing up for a baby trap. She best watch her birth control for tampering. This happened to me. I'm now happily divorced, but also 44 with a 5-year-old. To put it in context, our other 2 children are 21 and 24. He knew the kids were grown and I was out of there. Then, bam, I'm suddenly pregnant. I left him anyway just after the baby turned 3, but tied to him for 13 more years. I guess he kinda got what he wanted. I've been on birth control for over 15 years now. I wasn't planning on stopping anytime soon, especially because that's heavily monitored by my doctors. If you're on the pill, be aware that if he microwaves them for 15 seconds, it can nullify their effectiveness. Keep them somewhere he won't have access, just in case. I have the implant, but thank you. Edit 1. I work the hours I do, so I can build up PTO and sick time for my procedures and recovery. Yes, I have FMLA for this, but it only pays out 60% of my wage versus 100% if I use PTO. Overtime accrues PTO at 2 times and pays time and a half. We also have a pickup bonus of $10 an hour. I've been working at this hospital since 2015. First as a CNA, then as a phlebotomist since 2018, and a registered nurse since 2020. So I have seniority, which comes with benefits. 2. I work night shift because it provides flexibility for my schedule and accommodates my restrictions. I'm lucky enough to work in a hospital that uses lifts and is as well staffed as it can be currently. Shift differential also gives me an additional $6 an hour, which quickly adds up. 3. My surgeries were laparoscopic, and recovery time ranges from 1 to 4 weeks on average. Surgeries 1 and 3 were both exploratory. The second was to remove a lesion on my intestines that had connected them to my abdominal wall, as well as a cyst on my ovary. Recovery was 4 weeks, with 4 more on restrictions. I'm about to have a 4th surgery to remove my gallbladder. Recovery is 1 to 2 weeks, with 2 weeks of restrictions. Yes, I've had a lot of surgeries this year, but I hadn't had any before this, unless you count upper and lower GI scopes, pelvic floor testing, gastric emptying test, X-rays, CTs, MRI labs, genetic testing, and HIDA scans. Or maybe the diet changes and medications you have to be on for months at a time before seeing any real changes. I also have the birth control implant, and coming off that would require input and oversight from 3 different doctors. 4. I blocked all of my husband's accounts and those of his friends that I know of. I plan on deleting this at some point, but I've just gotten angrier with each comment and everything I type out. At this point, I don't care if he finds this. Maybe it would be the wake-up call he needs. 5. Our wedding was supposed to take place in November 2020. That obviously didn't happen. We rescheduled to the end of 2021 so we wouldn't lose deposits. He quit his job about 2 months after our wedding. 6. People do things like meal prep for a week and find relaxation in cooking. My hospital provides scrubs. When I'm home, I have more than 6 pairs of underwear. So it's not like I don't have clothes if I don't do laundry every day. I appreciate all the comments, but to the rude ones especially, please remember that I am a real person. I'm sorry I have to justify every small detail of my health problems for you. Unfortunately, the knee brace girl in middle school sometimes grows up and still has health problems. This is my first time being alive, and not everything is going to be perfect. I am trying my best, and sometimes people do stupid things because they love someone. Now for the update a month later. Hello again, Reddit. My previous post is on my page. I tried to link it, but the pain medication might be impairing me. I had my surgery a few days ago, and since I have time off, I figured I'd write an update for anyone curious. It will be long, and I apologize. On one of my days off, I wanted to have a discussion about our relationship, and it didn't go well. I had spent the night cleaning and getting the house together because my anxiety was so bad. When he woke up in the morning, I had breakfast made, and we just made polite small talk. I started the conversation by asking if he was happy in our relationship. I'll summarize the conversation. Me, are you happy like this? With us? I feel like we're roommates more than a married couple. Him, I don't think either of us has been happy for a while. I do still love you and want to raise children with you. You'll be a great mom. I've been meaning to talk to you about something. Me, okay? Him, do you remember my friends in X City and how they were having problems in their relationship after the wife came out as ace? How they opened their relationship so the husband could still get his needs met. At this point, I was just staring at him. He kept rambling. I've joined some groups online. They said it saved their marriage. And with how much I'm traveling now for work, it would be every other 2 weeks, you know? And I'm in X City, so it's not like it would be someone you know or would ever meet. Me, WTF? Him, I mean, think about it. We could have a surrogate this way. I know it would be a lot, but we could make it work. You've always talked about fostering or adopting, and it would be just like that. Me, did you get someone pregnant? Is this your way of telling me you cheat on me when you travel for work? Him, no. God, no. There was one girl at the bar who was flirting with me, and it just felt nice to be wanted like that. He then pulled out his phone and started showing me support groups he had joined online for poly people in monogamous relationships. There were probably 3 or 4 of them that he'd been texting in for the last few weeks, trying to gain the confidence to talk to me about opening up our marriage. He brought up how he knows I've been thinking about switching to travel contracts and how I could meet people there. But then when we come back home, we're together and married because we still love each other. I have nothing against people who are in poly relationships. It's just not for me. When I'm with someone, I want to be the only person they're with. I don't want to get tested regularly. I don't want to risk a surprise pregnancy. I don't want to feel jealous or wonder if he's texting another girl while he's supposed to be spending time with me. I let him finish his speech before I told him it hasn't felt like we've been married in a long time, and I'm done. Hearing that he wants to see other people killed any last feelings I may have had. I'm not in love anymore, and staying together isn't going to make either of us happy. We both want kids, but our timelines are different. What we want from the future is different now. I asked him to move out, and he didn't seem surprised. I walked away and left him in the kitchen before I drove to my friend's house since I just couldn't be there. We spent the day drinking and eating ice cream while I went from crying to laughing to screaming. She is currently going through a divorce over her ex-husband's porn addiction and the debt he put them in because of it. She gave me her lawyer's information, and I had an appointment set up with him a few days later. I went home the next day and he had moved most of his stuff out. His side of the closet is empty, his cat, the stuff in the bathroom. A few of our wedding pictures have been taken off the wall and I can't find them, so I think he took them, and his gaming setup. The house feels incredibly empty now. He travels for work, so I'm used to being alone in the house, but now my toothbrush is lonely in the cup on the sink. Our garage feels bigger. The bed gets cold. I only have to cook for one now. I miss his presence. I miss having someone to come home to. And I won't lie, I've spent the last week crying, and my heart hurts. We didn't speak for a few days after he left. His mom reached out before he did. She wanted to see how I was doing and asked if there was anything she could do for me. We had a great relationship, and I'm honestly going to miss having her in my life. We have a lot of the same dietary restrictions, but for different reasons, and she was my food adventure buddy. We would go out for coffee or lunch at some of the few restaurants and cafes where we could safely eat. She invited me out for coffee, and I went. When we met up the next day, we made small talk until the divorce came up. She let me know how he was doing. He moved into one of the houses on their property. They have like 60 acres and 4 houses that different family members live in. He hasn't really gotten out of bed. She's worried about him and wanted us to talk it out. She asked if I was willing to go to couples counseling, and I told her I've been asking for that for about a year. His response was always no. I was drowning, and he didn't want to help fix it. But now that I've decided to leave, he wants to work on it. I just can't. She stayed silent for a while before asking me if I still loved him. I do, but I don't. I told her I loved who he was, but I'm too full of hurt now and I don't feel the love anymore. I can't keep taking care of him like he's my child. I can't keep bankrolling our lives alone. I need a partner who is able to support me, and I haven't felt supported by her son in a long time. We were both crying by the end of our talk, and she gave me a really big hug before leaving. He wanted to talk the next day, and he came back to the house to talk. When he came in, it was awkward. He wanted to give me a hug, and when he did, he went for a kiss, but I turned my head so he kissed my cheek instead. We talked for a while about our relationship and how it got to this point. He apologized for a lot. He went into specifics, how he never helped around the house, how he could have done more since he was home. It wasn't fair to me that he put it all on me. He told me he's looking at a new job, one where he doesn't have to travel, and that's actually in the field he got his degree in. He gave me an update on his cat, who is struggling to adjust to the new house. I told him I'll have papers for him in a few weeks, and he couldn't look me in the eyes for the rest of the time he was there. I helped him pack some of the odds and ends he'd left around the house, and then he left again. At the appointment with the lawyer, we talked about what the divorce process would look like. Unless he wants the house, I plan to buy his half. If I do that, there's a good chance I won't have to pay alimony, unless he fights for it. He has the potential to make more than I do, so my lawyer doesn't think I'll have to pay anyway. We don't have children, unless you count fur babies, and I took a pregnancy test recently to confirm I'm not pregnant, so that won't be a factor. We each own our cars and pay for them ourselves. We have a joint savings account, but I can prove I've been the only one contributing for the last 2 years, so it's likely I'll get most of it. I'm not touching it, other than for house bills, per my lawyer's advice. I'll hopefully have papers for my soon-to-be ex to fill out, and if he gets a lawyer, they can look it over. My 2 cats have been laying in bed with me and haven't left my side since he left. They're trying to make me feel better, but it's hard. My friend, who is also getting a divorce, has said that we'll have a hot girl summer together. It makes me laugh, but I don't think I'm ready, or even close to it. I don't want to meet new people. I don't want to do first dates again. I think I'm just going to be single for a while. My mom sent me this poem after I told her about the divorce, and it makes me cry reading it. I've learned a lot from this relationship, and I'm content being the old crazy cat lady for the foreseeable future. I will never love the same after you. I was always the girl that loved so hard that it hurt, until it hurt. I watched you change every day until you eventually become someone I told myself I would never settle for. But how do I leave you? I told myself it was just a rough patch and we can work through this. I will do more to make you love me again because I don't give up on people. So why would I do that to you? I will put myself through hell for you. I will hate myself to love you, and I will rip myself apart so that you feel cared for. Because I was serious when I said I would die for you. Because I almost did. I guess I ripped myself apart so much that I had nothing left. I cared so much about you that I stopped caring about myself completely. I lost who I was, and I was no longer strong. And I watched myself change every day until I eventually became someone I told myself I'd never be. But it's my fault for not having a limit on how much I'm willing to give and for how long I'm willing to stay. And for loving you more than I loved me, because I loved you so hard that it hurt. So I will never love the same after you. By Ali Harding. Last story. I left my date on my side of the road. I, 22 female, went on a date with a man, 31 male I met on Hinge. We chatted for a few days beforehand, and he bragged about the fun things we were going to do and the nice car he was going to pick me up in. On the day of the date, he told me his car, an Audi A5, was in the shop, and that he had to pick me up in his brother's car, which ended up being a beat-up Saab with spray paint and stickers all over it. I decided to just drive my own car. I met him at our first location, which was the museum. At the counter, he pulled out his EBT card so that we could get in for free, which was shocking. He told me he was an electrical engineer, so how would he qualify for EBT? The date actually went okay, and we left the museum and decided to drive in my car to the next location. The second he saw my car, he started laughing and acting strange. I asked him what was funny, but he brushed me off. We drove from the museum to the second location. About 5 minutes into the drive, he asked if the car we were driving was mine. I told him it was, and that it had been a gift. He laughed and said, I would have respectfully declined. Nissan Altimas are one of the most low-quality cars on the market. I didn't really know what to say after that. I have a 2021 Nissan Altima that I inherited after my mom died. He then said the girly seat covers didn't help and that I should go for an all-black look. I told him they were my mom's seat covers. He already knew she died recently. He then said, I'm not sure why that matters. It doesn't look good. I started getting a little angry and asked about his Audi and if he had any pictures of it. He got super defensive and continued to talk badly about my car. I pulled over and told him to get out. He was somehow shocked, but got out. I'm not sure if I overreacted, but it felt like he lied about his job and his car, and maybe felt insecure when he saw mine. Now for the comments. Bro is a walking red flag. Even with the EBT being legit, he does not respect you or your belongings. Talking crap about your car on the first date is absolutely wild. Before, he was a red flag. Now he is a walking red flag. Haha. Made fun of your car, can't show you pictures of his, then the EBT card. I think 2 and 2 makes 4 on this one. He's broke, which doesn't make him a bad person by any means, but he is lying about it. That could be for myriad reasons that range from insecurity to outright malice. You made the right call. Keep yourself safe out there. Yeah, broke ain't the issue. Shady is. If he's lying on date 1, imagine date 10.